Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where today I'm going to be reviewing the independent Era 2 medium, the Bandit. Now the Bandit is being marketed as a mercenary, but after a nice chat with the lead tank designer, I have come to learn that it is not a mercenary tank at all. It was a real tank. This thing actually existed. And this is it. This is it right here, and this is what happens when the Malaysian army has T-72 turrets and Leopard 1A5 hulls just kicking around. Yeah, this is what you get. So, there you go. There's the first bit of good news about this tank. It's not a mercenary. It's an actual, it was real, it never saw combat, but it happened, it was a thing. So there you have it. Good. It's not a merc. Alright, so for those of you short on time, I'll do a quick overview here. This tank is exactly what you would expect from a Leopard and T-72 crossover. The Leopard 1A5 hull means it's mobile, but it has no armour, and the T-72 gun means it hits hard, but you have the typical Russian gun depression issue, which I find to be even more noticeable in this tank than in the actual T-72. That might just be me not having played T-72s all that often recently, but it's really noticeable to me. And that's basically this tank in a nutshell. It's a Leopard and a T-72 crossover. That's basically it. And at the moment, it is the season reward tank, so it can be yours for as little as 2,000 gold if you're willing to grind through all 100 levels of the season. But outside of the season, it will cost you 11,000 gold. Alright, let's have a look at this thing in a little bit more detail. Standard rounds have 408mm of pen, gold have 420, and the high explosive, the secondary ammunition, has 145mm of pen. Standard and gold rounds will do an average of 550 alpha, the HE will do an average of 690 if it penetrates. The Bandit has 2,600 hit points, has an unboosted top speed of 71 kilometers an hour, has a view range of 495 meters, and finally has a detection range of 404 meters. There you go. That is the Bandit in a nutshell. And I have found this tank to be... it's quite difficult to compare this tank to other premium mediums in Era 2, because typically a tank is its own standalone vehicle. But this isn't that. This is two tanks. And it's listed as a medium. But I don't think comparing it to mediums is fair, because it has the gun and turret of a heavy. So the best I can do is compare this tank to the tanks that it's made up by. I don't even know. Like, compare it to the tanks that it's got in it. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyway. So we have a Leopard 1A5 hull and a T-72A turret. So starting with the turret and the gun. The tech tree, T-72A, has 372mm of pen on its standard rounds, 420 on its gold, and 135mm on its high explosive. So, despite the Bandit having the same gun as the T-72A, it has improved pen on its standard and secondary ammunition, which, that's a win. Same gun, but you've got improved penetration, so there you go. Alpha across the board, alpha for all three types of ammunition remains the same though, so, you've got improved pen, but your alpha is the same. But that's fairly typical, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. That's cool. The turret is typically the module that increases vehicle hit points, but the T-72A comes in with an extra 50 hit points over the Bandit. So Bandit's got 2,600 as you can see here, and the T-72A has 2,650. Yeah, reasons. Alright, moving on to the Leopard 1A5 part of the Bandit. The 1A5 has an unboosted top speed of 63 kilometers an hour. So somehow the Bandit has found extra speed somewhere, an extra 8 kilometers an hour. I don't know. The smaller turret of the T-72 must save weight or something. I don't know. It is what it is. View range of the 1A5 is 510 meters, which makes sense since the 1A5 is a taller vehicle. The saved height, though, does not seem to benefit the Bandit that much because the concealment of the 1A5 is 405 meters, which is, you know, near as makes no difference the same as the Bandit. So even though the Bandit is a shorter vehicle, it's got the same concealment. Concealment, I have been told, concealment is tied to the height of the vehicle. So maybe the height of the T-72 turret isn't that much different to the Leopard 1A5. I don't know. We could ask Wargaming that question. So there you go. This tank it's a real mashup, and I will just interject here at this point. Despite the stats, despite the fact that the Bandit has better terrain resistance than the T-72A and the 1A5, and despite the fact that it has the better power to weight ratio of the three even, sorry, it does feel sluggish. It slows down a lot when it's going over soft terrain, like through the water there. Through the water there, it felt really slow. And driving through one of the ploughed fields on Dragon's Ridge, it felt really slow. And I thought, hang on, the stats don't always seem to match up. So I don't know if there's something off here or the stats that we've got are wrong. But for a Leopard hull, I expected more. If I'm being honest, I did expect a little bit more from the maneuverability, hull traverse, and all that. So yeah, but is the Bandit a bad tank? No, not really. Playing a hill like this is where you really notice the gun depression problems. Is it a good tank? Well, I'd say again, no, not really. It feels like what it is. It's a fudged vehicle. It does not feel like this vehicle was designed to be this way at all. And the truth is, well, it wasn't, was it? It's an experiment. It's an experiment that never saw combat. And in my opinion, it plays like an experiment. You have the feel of a Leopard, but the slow aim time of the T-72 and the less accurate gun of the T-72. And you then get into a fight and you think, oh, I've got a T-72 gun. So you feel like you're fighting as a T-72, and later on you'll see exactly what I mean by this next statement. You feel like you're in a T-72, but then the armor of the Leopard lets it down. So it's a real... It screws with your head a little bit, because when you're driving around, it feels like a Leopard. Oh, I'm in a Leopard. I can play like it's a Leopard. And then you fire the gun and it's, oh, I'm in a T-72, I can play like it. But it's awkward. It's really awkward to... Well, I found it awkward anyway. Lucky for me that that BMP2 missed. Not the first time I'll miss either. So yeah, I mean, there you go. It's a weird vehicle to play, but at the same time, it isn't terrible. And in all honesty, that is exactly what I would expect from a season giveaway tank. Alright then, before I close this one off, let's take a look at the soft stats of the Bandit. It has a 65% silver boost, which is very nice. It's nice to have a premium with 65% silver boost. It has a 10% XP boost, tank XP boost. There's the second ATGM flying past. And the BMP2 pays for his mistake. Ooh, buddy. Practice with those ATGMs. Yeah, 10% tank XP boost and a 5% free XP boost. That 5% is quite nice. I do like that, which then, you know, so the silver and the free XP, that's really not too bad. And here is an example of how the Leopard armor just doesn't hold up. If that was a T-72, the Brennus autocannon would just bounce. But you don't have the T-72 hull. You've got the Leopard hull, which at that angle is basically paper thin. So yeah, it's an awkward one to play. It's a weird one to play. If nothing else, you could theoretically use this tank as a silver earner. And that might work for you. If this tank gels with you, then it will be a good silver earner for you. But I found it a little awkward to play. So yeah, I'll let you guys decide whether you like it or not. But for 2,000 gold with the season, hey, it could be worse. It could really be worse. Alright folks, that's about all I have for this one. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, if not a dislike. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.